Willie Waffle is our expert on movies, and Willie, I got to tell you, 3.5 waffles you gave the Post. Is that right?
Yeah, I really liked it.
Loved it. We saw it. I got to tell you something. For somebody who I wasn't a journalism major, but a broadcast major, but certainly have worked in journalism and in the news world, and I got to tell you, to me, that movie was emotional. And it was emotional beyond that. It wasn't just journalism, but it was also the power of this woman who, at a time when no one thought she could, because she's a woman, the tough decision that she made and how tough she was at the helm of the Washington Post. It's really an amazing movie.
No, I think it really is, and I think when you look at the issues and the themes and what's going on there, and you compare it to the current state of modern news and modern broadcasting, you just kind of go, where did it all go wrong?
Yeah,
When did we stop caring about these things?
Yeah.
I mean, we've always heard about the kind of the commercialization of the news and the need to make money over doing a good job in delivering the news. And it almost really kind of is proven by this movie as you look back at what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, her decision could have tanked the Washington Post. It could have destroyed the newspaper and the business. I mean, it was a risk, but it was the right thing to do. Can you imagine someone doing the right thing versus a huge risk? I'm not sure today,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah. If she went forward today, I have a feeling the board of directors would be seeking legal action to remove her.
Yeah.
Because God forbid we put the business and the stock at danger.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about the big movies coming up here. Let's start with the woman who is the real victim. Just look over here. Don't look over here. Tonya Harding. I, Tonya is the big push this week.
Well, and I love I, Tonya. I think it's one of the best movies of the year. I am absolutely blown away by Margot Robbie, the blonde Aussie bombshell who proves she's Meryl Streep, man.
Wow.
As she plays Tonya Harding. And I get what you're saying. There are a lot of people who are very angry, who feel this movie is somehow making an excuse for the horrible, illegal act of the conspiracy of her husband and his friends to attack Nancy Kerrigan and try to get her out of the Olympics so Tonya Harding could win.
Yeah.
And I don't think it makes an excuse. I think it is part of the tapestry. I think it is looking at this woman's life, and you've got to feel some sympathy for the violence and the horrible upbringing and constantly being the outsider and constantly fighting the powers that be because you're from the wrong side of the tracks. I think a lot of people can relate to that. So that's the tragic and the dramatic part of the movie. There's the gonzo comedy over-the-top part of the movie where you just can't believe those morons think they're going to pull this off.
Yeah.
And you see just the ridiculous acts that they engage in. And I think there's also, in that tragedy, the idea that Tonya Harding does, in many ways, cause her own downfalls and is responsible. And you see that here, too. So I'm not one of those people who feels it's a big excuse. I think you're seeing the whole picture. And
I got to tell you, one of the I've heard that it really is not a movie that definitely is complimentary to Tonya Harding. But when asked if she was happy with the movie, despite the fact that in many cases it makes her look bad, and it doesn't defend her and say that she had nothing to do with it, it just tells her side of the story and the other side of the story. But I think she wanted her story told about the odds she was up against, the discrimination, and the abuse that she took, which, by the way, her mother completely says is a bunch of crap.
Yeah, I would say that too if I was the mother after the way I was portrayed in the movie.
Right.
But the other interesting part of the movie too is you talk about how Tonya Harding says this kind of explains everything. You see in the movie that Tonya Harding never takes responsibility for anything.
Right.
And that's really an amazing part of it, too.
Well, and that's part of it. It really does not, it doesn't favor any side. It just basically, from what you're saying, tells the story. So how many waffles are you giving this one?
Oh, God, I think it's 4 waffles. I think it's so absolutely fantastic.
All right, I got to go see it then. All right, let's whip through these here. 12 strong.
Yeah, this is the story of the first Army Special Forces who were sent to Afghanistan after September 11th, and the fact that they have to join with the Afghani forces and accomplish a task that should take 2 years, but they've got 3 weeks to do it. And you're blown away by how awesome these guys are, and the courage that they have, and the tactical planning that has to go into this, and the execution that has to go into this.
Yep.
I just feel like it's never emotional. So how about 2.5 waffles?
All right, just the number of waffles. Den of Thieves.
1.5 waffles.
Forever My Girl, country singing superstar.
Yeah, God, like half a waffle.
And,
jeepers.
And Phantom Thread. I don't think we're going to see it this week, but...
Yeah, I'm not that into it. I'm going to go 2.5 waffles.
All right.
I don't see all the Oscar buzz.
All right, it's wafflemovies.com. Before you go to the movies, don't waste your time. Willie, thanks. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, man.